The Forgotten Legacy. The stars beyond the observation deck of Aurora's dawn burned with ancient light, each one a testament to civilizations that had risen and fallen long before humanity ever looked up from Earth. Captain Aidan Core stood motionless, his reflection ghosting across the reinforced viewport, watching the massive structure that loomed ahead. The Alindar Citadel, a station so vast it could swallow Earth's moon whole. "They're ready for us," Dr. Lena Rouse said quietly, stepping beside him. Her dark eyes held both excitement and apprehension, though I'm not sure ready is the right word, more like tolerating. Aidan allowed himself a thin smile. Humanity's first official contact with the Alindar Dominion had been 3 years ago, a moment of cosmic significance that Earth had celebrated for months. But the Alindar? They'd barely noticed. To them, humans were just another primitive species taking their first stumbling steps into a galaxy already ancient beyond comprehension. "Let them tolerate us," Aidan replied. "We're not here to beg for acceptance." The docking procedure was flawless but cold. No welcoming delegation, no ceremonial greetings, just automated systems guiding them into a berth clearly designed for smaller, less important vessels. When they finally stepped into the Citadel's grand concourse, the message became even clearer. Alindar moved through the space with fluid grace, tall, luminescent beings whose very skin seemed to shimmer with inner light. Beside them walked the Krell, towering and armored, their multiple eyes scanning everything with military precision. The Vryn floated past, their crystalline forms refracting light into rainbow patterns. Dozens of species, hundreds of cultures, all bound by the Dominion's laws. And then there were the humans. 2 of them, walking through a gallery of cosmic giants like children in a museum built for adults. "Ambassador Core, Dr. Rao." The voice came from an Alindar whose robes marked him as high-ranking. His name, they'd been briefed, was Celester Vane. "Welcome to the Citadel. Your quarters have been prepared in Section 7. Section 7. Lena's voice held a note of understanding that Aidan immediately recognized. Section 7 is where they housed new species, probationary members, the galactic equivalent of the kids' table. "Your species has much to learn before full integration can be considered," Vane continued, his tone polite but dismissive. "The Dominion has maintained order for 17,000 years. We have protocols, standards. Your people have been spacefaring barely a century." "We appreciate your patience," Aidan said evenly, though something burned in his chest. Not anger, something more productive, determination. The next 3 days were a masterclass in condescension. Humans were permitted to observe council sessions, but not speak. They could access public archives, but not restricted databases. They were studying humanity, Aidan realized, like anthropologists might study an interesting but ultimately inconsequential culture. Lena spent most of her time in the archives anyway, her scientific curiosity undeterred by the slight. It was on the 4th day that she burst into Aidan's quarters, her tablet clutched in trembling hands. "I found something. Aidan, I found something impossible." She thrust the tablet toward him. On the screen was a mathematical sequence, complex, elegant, and unmistakably familiar. Below it, an image of an ancient structure on a planet called Ashir, one of the Alindar's oldest colonies. "This is the Drake equation," Aidan said slowly. "Earth, 21st century. But this was carved into Get Temple Wall 8,000 years ago. And that's not all. Look at this." She swiped through images, more structures, more symbols, star charts that matched Sol system, anatomical diagrams that could only be human. "Aidan, they're everywhere. Dozens of worlds, all predating the Dominion, all predating every known civilization." "The architects," Aidan whispered. The architects were legend, the mysterious species that had supposedly left behind the ancient technology and structures that jump-started galactic civilization. Every species had myths about them. The Alindar believed they were ancient gods who ascended to higher planes. The Krell thought they were warriors who conquered death itself. "They weren't gods," Lena said, and her eyes were bright with tears. "We were here. We were here before. Somehow, we were here before." Aidan felt the weight of the revelation settle over him like a mantle. For 3 days, they'd been treated as children playing in the ruins of giants. But what if humanity wasn't the newcomer? What if they were the ones who had built the playground in the first place? "We need to verify this," he said finally, quietly. "If we're right, Lena, if we're right, everything changes." She nodded, already lost in thought. "There's a site,
Planet called Viridian on the outer edge of Dominion space, completely off-limits. Ancient architect ruins, perfectly preserved. If we could get there, then we'd know for certain. Aiden looked back out at the stars, seeing them differently now. Not as markers of alien territory, but as breadcrumbs leading home. Get me everything you can on Viridian. Every restriction, every security protocol, every reason they don't want anyone going there. What are you thinking? Aiden's reflection smiled back at him from the viewport, and this time, it wasn't thin or diplomatic. It was the smile of someone who just realized they were playing a much bigger game than anyone knew. I'm thinking, he said quietly, that it's time humanity stopped asking for permission.
Evolution's Forge. The holograms zoom through Earth's atmosphere, showing continents racked by storms, tectonic plates grinding against each other, oceans churning with tsunamis. Your species evolved on stable worlds, Grant continued. Planets with predictable weather, manageable seismic activity, ecosystems in equilibrium. You developed intelligence in environments that rewarded long-term planning and adherence to established patterns. The image shifted to show humanity's evolutionary journey, early hominids fleeing from predators, building tools, discovering fire. Earth gave us no such luxury, Grant said. Our planet tried to kill us. Regularly. Ice ages, volcanic eruptions, asteroid impacts, predators that outweighed us 10 to 1. Our world changed the rules constantly, so we evolved to thrive in chaos. The Xanthari swarm buzzed. Many species face environmental challenges. This is not unique. You're correct, Grant acknowledged. But here's what might be unique. We didn't just survive Earth, we conquered it. Every ecosystem, every climate, every hostile environment, we adapted to it or changed it. We're persistence hunters who can chase prey until it dies of exhaustion. We're endurance specialists who figured out how to survive everywhere from frozen tundra to scorching deserts. He paused, letting that sink in. And then we got bored and decided to leave. A sound rippled through the hall. Was that alien laughter? When humanity reached space, we brought that same energy with us. You see impossible logistics? We see a puzzle. You see immutable physical laws? We see untested assumptions. You see a system that's worked for millennia? We see a system that might have a more efficient alternative no one's tried yet. The Kethran archivist's entire body language shifted, something Grant's xenopsychology training flagged as deep discomfort. You're describing systematic disrespect for established knowledge, the archivist said slowly. No, Grant corrected. We're describing systematic questioning of established assumptions. There's a difference. He brought up a new display, the Kepler Station supply crisis the archivist had mentioned earlier. Your solution to Kepler Station involved building larger ships and establishing more frequent supply runs. Perfectly logical. The station is far from major shipping lanes, so you compensated with scale and frequency. It was the mathematically optimal solution, the Valorix confirmed. It was optimal given your constraints, Grant agreed. But we asked a different question. Why does Kepler Station need so many supplies? And the answer was, because nothing there was designed for long-term sustainability. Every system was built assuming regular resupply. He showed human modifications to the station. We installed hydroponic farms, redesigned the life support for better recycling, set up local manufacturing using asteroid mining, turned Kepler from a dependent outpost into a self-sustaining node that actually exports goods now. You changed the entire paradigm, the Duroc Warsage rumbled, and Grant couldn't tell if that was admiration or concern. We asked why, until we found a different problem to solve. That's what humans do. It's not that we're smarter than you, he gestured respectfully to the ancient species around him. It's that we're more willing to be stupid first. That definitely drew confused reactions. Clarification requested, the Valorix chimed. Grant grinned. Every innovation starts with someone saying something that sounds ridiculous. What if we could fly? What if we could talk to people on the other side of the planet? What if we could leave our world entirely? In human culture, we have a saying, there are no stupid questions.
Because sometimes the stupid question reveals the flaw in everyone's assumptions. He looked around the hall at species whose civilizations rose and fell while Earth was still cooling from its formation. You asked how humanity achieved so much so quickly. The answer is, we never learned what was impossible. And by the time we found out, we'd already done it.